What's up, guys? Devon here with another short video on business tips. Today I want to discuss a really hot topic in regards to recent events concerning the coronavirus. Now, in light of this news, many of us will have the luxury of working from home. Since I've been doing so for some time, working from home, I figured I'd give you all a few pointers in regards to doing so you don't go crazy and lose your touch. These may or may not work for you, but as for myself, I found having tremendous success implementing these tips on a daily basis. So, of course, if you found this information beneficial, go ahead and press that like button below. And of course, if you'd like to see more on business tips and strategies, feel free to subscribe to our channel. Check it out. I got the keys. Staying on task is probably one of the most important tips to abide to when working from home. Here's why. There's a lot of pros and there's a lot of cons when you work from home, but I think in my opinion, one of the best pros being the micromanagement. There's literally no micromanagement. And what I mean by that is typically when you're working in the office, there's somebody looking over your shoulder at all points during the day to make sure you're on task. You're not lollygagging, you're not doodling, whatever the case may be. They're making sure you're getting your things done. When you're working from home, you're literally by yourself. So there's nobody to do that. There may be an occasional call or an IM to check up to see if you're on task, but there's nobody over your shoulder, and that's really great. But that's also a downfall. That's a pitfall for a lot of people, simply put, because it's very easy for a lot of us to get knocked off course. You know, as for myself, I like to play video games. I like to search the web. I like to look out the window, and that knocks me off course sometimes. So to combat that, I basically set my task. I use my iPhone very heavily. There's reminders that you can set up. You can have Siri set the reminders for you at all points of the day and basically send you a notification to let you know, hey, you have to get this done. I use my iPhone calendar. So whenever I do have a meeting set up with somebody, I also have Siri go ahead and set that meeting in my phone so that I don't forget and remind me whenever I need to get put back on task. Also, in addition to your Apple apps, there's another app that you can download on your phone. It's called Outlook, which, for myself, with my company, we use Outlook. And whenever I have an event or a meeting set up, I pretty much have everything synced, at which whenever I'm reminded on my computer from my work email, it then sends me a notification through my phone as well. So that's another way for you to stay on task. Moral of the story being, set up your task, whatever the case, however you get it done, make sure you do it so that you can get things knocked out during your daily task, and so that you can have a positive outlook when working from home. Setting boundaries for yourself is yet another important tip to abide to when working from home. Here's why. It's very easy to get overworked when you're working from the house. And what that causes is unnecessary stress. And we all know what happens when you get stressed. You don't want to do more, especially when it comes to work. So we don't want that when you're working from home during this time period, because that'll have a negative impact on you. And we don't want that to happen. So a good way to combat that is to basically abide to your hours of operation. So if you're working from 8 to 5, when you clock out at 5 o'clock, go ahead and leave everything on the plate there. Close your computer and go on about your weekend, or go on about your evening, whatever the case may be. Ignore anything that concerns yourself with work. And pretty much what that does is that gives you a better peace of mind, and you're able to have a better balance when it comes to work and life. So don't completely ignore everything you're getting out of office. If you're getting emails from important people, obviously you want to email them back on your phone or hop on the computer, let them know, hey, all right, I received this, and we'll be in touch soon. But again, you want to try to create that work-life balance. If you do have something coming in after hours, leave it alone and just hop on it the next day. This will be better for you, and this will be better for your work schedule in the future. Avoiding isolation is yet another important tip to abide to when working from home. Here's why. You want to stay social, man. I mean, it gets really bored when you work from home, especially if you don't have any kids running around the house, or if your significant other also has a day job to go to. So a good way to combat this is to simply find different ways to interact. If you can leave the house, maybe go catch up with someone, get a cup of coffee, grab lunch with somebody, go catch a movie during your break. Or if you're a homebody and you want to, or basically you can't leave your office because there's a lot for you to do, whatever the case may be, there's different ways to interact with folks online. So social media is really a really big one for me. I'm always on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat. I FaceTime people. And another thing I do is basically I game a lot. I'm always on my Xbox playing video games with other folks at all points of the day. And basically what this creates is it gives you a way to stay on your toes. When I'm bored specifically, I get tired. I go on break, I eat lunch, and if I overeat, I get full and I get tired and I go to sleep. You don't want to do that when you're working from home, because you want to stay as productive as possible. So I think doing this, interacting with different folks, getting rid of that sense of boredom will overall make you a little bit more productive during your day. Staying healthy is yet another important tip to abide to when working from home. Here's why. It's very easy to let go of yourself or lose yourself, especially when working from the house. We all just went grocery shopping, and now we know we have a fridge full of good food to eat. So it'd be very easy to go and eat that food. And let me tell you something, when you're working from the house, all that'll add up really quick, especially if you have no way of being active. You're literally sitting in front of your computer 8 hours of the day and eating or snacking on something. That adds up. So a good way to combat that is basically to create a routine for yourself to work out. What I do is basically I work out 30 to 45 minutes prior to going in the morning. What this does is basically this gives me a good boost. It gives me energy during my day. Also, I've created a way for me to combat all that extra weight that I'm eating or gaining throughout the day. And I would recommend you all doing this as well, because again, not only is it a good way for you to stay healthy, being active, it also gives you or provides you a substantial amount of energy during your day. So it sort of gets rid of that sense of boredom, and it keeps you on your toes during your daily activities. Taking breaks is yet another, and I think the most important tip to abide to when working from home. Here's why. I've said this once and I'll say it again. Do not overwork yourself. And if you overwork yourself, this is going to cause unnecessary stress. And nobody wants that, because typically when you get stressed, especially at work, you don't want to work anymore. And that'd be bad for you when working from home during this time. So a good way to combat that is basically don't shortchange yourself during your breaks, especially during your lunch break. They even have apps such as an app called Timeout for Mac or Smart Break for Windows. These apps lock yourself out of the computer for 60 minutes or whatever time frame you set it to, so that you don't shortchange yourself. Or you can simply launch some type of timer or a clock that'll notify you of your that you completed your hour or whatever time frame it may be, so that you know exactly how long you've been off the clock and when you need to return. If you return to your desk after 40 minutes on your 60-minute break, go ahead and walk for another 20, just so you don't shortchange yourself on those minutes, because this is extremely vital for your your life balance, or I'm sorry, life-work balance whenever you're out of office, especially. Another thing, what I do is basically I take 15-minute breaks every hour whenever I can, just to take a good deep breath, just to gather my thoughts, or whatever the case may be. Because what this does for myself is this allows me to be a bit more productive whenever I do come back in front of my computer. Nobody wants to sit in front of their computer all day, and I'm definitely not suggesting you all do so. Again, what this does is it creates a better working environment for yourself, and in return, whenever you give back to your company, you're able to do a little bit more, simply put, because you're treating yourself or accommodating yourself to the proper amount of breaks. All right, guys, that's all I had in regards to tips on working from home. Of course, again, if you found any of this information beneficial, go ahead and press that like button below. And of course, if you want more on business tips and strategies, go ahead and subscribe to our channel for more. Thanks for watching.